we'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's a pretty cool morning, and there's stuff everywhere. I don't know how else to say it, but all of this stuff gives me stress. Like, I would like things organized so I can find everything. I have lumber piles all through here. You know, we had built this wall to separate the shop from the woodworking area, and that's what this area will be, where I work on wood projects and fiberglass projects, which you guys would have saw a little bit with the introduction to the surf skis. Well, on the other side of this wall here, what I want to do is build some wood shelving, and I can use a lot of that scrap lumber to build the physical shelving, but then also to store all that scrap lumber. And I think what I also need to do at the same time is frame out and build the wall that separates this from what will be the entertaining area. There doesn't need to be a pass through here on this wall. And then build another shelf unit here that sticks 2 feet out from that wall. And we'll use some of the strength from that wall to for the shelving. Like the exposed studs on that wall can be the back of the shelving, and the braces, which obviously I'll show you as I start building it, we can tie into these 2x4s and come out to the front. So that wall never needs to be finished there, because this is just, like I said, woodworking area. It doesn't need to be. And we can do that the same. We can have it to where it can be finished on this side and can have hardy board siding. It may look a little weird with that trim there, but I don't see any reason to get rid of that trim. I think we can just retrim it out and do hardy board here, and that's that. So I think we'll build that wall where our finished wall will be even with that, so we can build that out. This guy is gonna have to be moved. He's not gonna be a problem for our shelving, but we will have to move it later. So I've already figured out the lumber that I need to do this wall. Very easy, since we've already done it right there. And what I need to get for the shelving. So I need to get to Home Depot, pick up those materials, and get started. All right, I just got back from Home Depot. I have all the lumber I need for this project and another video project in the back there. And what I need to start doing is moving that plywood that's gonna be in the way over, and moving all this lumber out of the way. And I think we should start building this shelf unit first, because that's gonna clear up a bunch of this junk, and then that won't be in the way when we do this wall and shelving unit on this side. And what I didn't explain earlier is this side will be steel, aluminum, all my PVC pipes and stuff like that, all of those materials, and maybe even some rolls of screen up top or something. And we may even do a shelf unit up there for some rolls of screen and the felt and all that stuff. Just try and get everything stored out of the way in here and organized. All right, I think we have all the lumber we're using, and I've marked the shelving at 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, and then obviously 8 feet at the top of an 8-foot 2x4. I think we're gonna run the 12-footers just on the inside, so this one has a line on the inside, and I have no idea why I put lines on the outside. You know me, I change plans in the middle of a project. So we'll run, I think we have to get this one done first. Toenail a 2x4 this way at those dimensions. So this is sitting there. And then I can hang the 12-footer and then tie it in to where I have the middle one marked and or the end one. Once I get the basis of the frame done, then we need to figure out how to get enough slats running to support the lumber. If I want to use corral boards as a solid floor for each shelf, I don't want to plywood this. I'd rather air get to all that lumber. Or do I just want slats running this way and just tying into the 12-foot 2x4? I'll show you that, I guess, once I have it rough framed out, then we'll discuss it. We can always do a time lapse on the second one once we figure out how we're gonna do it. Okay, we have the two ends done. So all of our marks at 2, 4, 6, 8. I put my little marks at the top. We've got them set all the way there, just 2 screws to the end. And then we also sturdied it up by tying it into the wall with 2 screws. I'm not using screws with any sort of rust preventative coating. There's gonna be another 12 foot of roof, 14 foot of roof extending out there. So this will be way inside of a shop. Even though I just don't have them today. I normally would just use anything outside with a coated screw. But these I didn't toenail in. I have this big pressure treated post, so it was very easy just to screw them into the post and then into the board. So we have our 2 ends. So what I'm gonna do next is measure from here all the way over to here. I will probably do it actually on the bottom one and the top one and find what is the closest average. If they're the same, then that's our measurement. But if they're a ½ inch off, then I will pick a quarter between them, and then tie it all together. So the next 2x4 has to go from in here all the way across, and then at the halfway point, we'll tie this in as a middle support. So I'm gonna get that done, and then we're gonna figure out how to do the shelving. All right, so we've got now the 12 foot. I think they ended up at 133 1/4 when I trimmed them. And now I just need the middle 2x4 right about there. What I'm gonna do is find center of the 2x4 of this 2x4. I'll find the center. Once I find the center, I'll measure over 1 3/4 inches, which is half of 3 1/2, make a line, and then we can attach this 2x4 to the center of each one of these. And again, we need to figure out how we're gonna do the slats. Now you can picture it better. I would like a slat here and a slat here. And then whatever lumber I set there has air circulating underneath and around it. Nothing's gonna get mildewy, wet, moist. It'll stay good and dry. If you let lumber get too wet and dry and everything, then it all starts to warp and get all out of shape. And I want whatever I have sitting here, like I have a bunch of cedar boards at the other house, I want it to stay good. So I don't know what we're gonna do for slats. We could possibly use this material if we rip it in half and do slats that way and tie it in. I mean, it's quite a few slats per shelf, but I mean, it was all out of welded steel at the other house, and it's so frustrating. This has been already done at the other house, but I guess I'll do it out of this corral board since I have so much of it, and I'll use some of the thicker, shorter pieces, and that should work out good. Let me get the center board on, and I'll get a bunch of slats done and show you guys what it looks like. All right, guys, I have the shelving done, and you can see they're just 2x2 slats. They're roughly every 2.5 feet or 2 1/4, something like that. I just spaced them out because I just want my lumber to be able to sit on there and get air from underneath, but also have the support to stay straight. I know it looks like I don't have much on the shelf because most of my cedar, my trim, all that stuff is at the other property. And then I have, normally I wouldn't have mountains of corral board to store. there would be enough to keep on the shelf. And I still have all this lumber here, but this lumber is getting used out there, so why pull it back to that shelving yet? So everything in this area can stay, but what we need to do next, like I said before, is now I need to frame out this wall. I don't need to plywood it from the other side, but I need to get this all framed out so I can build the shelving here. And I can't remember if I even said, but this shelving here is all for my steel, aluminum, PVC pipes that are all in that barrel right now. Like, all that stuff lays in that shelving there. So it's an extremely windy day, so I'm gonna see where I can't set up the GoPro and get this wall framed. All right, that's funny. I was just walking by with some lumber and I saw the camera laying down. I have no idea how long it's been laying down. But that's how windy it is today. It's actually hard for me to get the tape measure when I'm standing on the ladder and set it down on the pressure treated 2x4 down below, because the wind is blowing it. Or when I use the plumb bob to try and get level right there to find out where this pressure treated board had to sit, because their slab, you see it's almost even with the edge of the slab, but then over here it's like a 1/2 inch in. So their slab's actually off from what is level from what is the structure, or the structure's slightly off. It doesn't matter, but you couldn't just say, all right, it's a 1/2 inch in and put it a 1/2 inch in here, because it wouldn't be level to your wall. And there will be some more woodwork here later, but this part's not necessary yet. When we start doing the bar side, we'll get all this figured out. But I'm cutting all the 2x4s and getting them in there. And if you guys remember, so these are roughly 12, but they're like 114 in that range. I put a 2x4 there to hold them rigid. I could show you in my wall over here. It makes a wall much sturdier. These guys right here, there's my line at 60 inches up, and I just stagger them so I can screw them from the ends, and makes the wall square and true. So we just need to get all these 2x4s in there. Yeah, I don't think the tripod's gonna work right now. I think the wind's just gonna blow it down. It's actually a warm front pushing against the cool air that's making all the wind today. So it's supposed to be warm this weekend, and then I think it gets cool again next week. Coincidentally, today is the day we're shooting the video for taking Bubba to the vets. So trying to get this done so I have time to get him situated and everything in a very non-stressful way for him and get him in there. But I'm trying to get this wall done. You guys see the gist of it. I'll get these 2x4s all up there, and then we'll start doing those little center, I guess you want to call them bucks, those little supports. All right, the wall is done, and we've got to start on the shelving next, but I need to get out of here. Well, I'm gonna go run inside and eat lunch real quick, and then I gotta find a good box to transfer Bubba and shoot that video. I'm very excited to get him taken care of and find out what exactly is going on with him. All right, so I'm gonna take care of that, and then we'll be back on this shelf. All right, guys, it's the next day. We dealt with Bubba at the vet. Everything went good, but we're back to work on this wall and the shelving. And it's gonna be a lot easier because we don't have to figure it out this time. In fact, we can walk right over to this other shelf unit that we figured it out, and I can measure those 2x4s and I need 4 of them. I need 8 of them that length. Cut those suckers and then screw them on at the same heights that we figured out over here, and we'll get that together. I think I'm gonna cut some of the lumber and I'll set you guys up on time lapse. All right, guys. Today we kind of got a weird weather day. We've got gusts up to 30 miles an hour. It's just cloudy and super windy. And I had plans to do other things, but that's not happening. The next step in here would be, obviously I need to go pick up some of this stuff at the other property and start putting it on the shelves. And then I could stack up all this lumber neatly right up against there and have neat piles. And then the other next step would be to start strapping this plywood in 2 neat piles against the wall so it doesn't lean so far out into the room. If you strap it tight, it could stand just about straight up and won't take up so much space. But I got my buddy John Radford's in town. He's over here helping me do branches in the yard. You know, we're a couple days away from Christmas, and he came in town. We were going to a friend's celebration of life. It was a paddle out on our kayaks or surf skis out into the ocean, but because of the weather, it got canceled. So there's John right there. Hey. He's riding around with Pete on the golf cart and picking up all the branches that the wind is knocking down. We're gonna try and get on the water tomorrow, and then we have like a race league, not a formal race, the day after. So we're both gonna go to that before he flies home. But I think what we're gonna get started on is to move back into the shop area and frame out that other wall, because before this wind came a whole mess of rain and the other half of my shop got wet. So I mean, there's water on all the Jeep parts there. Yeah, we were supposed to be finishing up the Jeep. We ordered the front half of the transfer case, and when he split it, the back half looked perfect, but when he split it, then all of a sudden you could see what we couldn't see when it was together. So we actually now need a back half of the transfer case. But we're gonna frame out these walls together. I've already got the ladder set up. I'm pulling the tools out that I need, moved everything off the wall. We'll move that ring toss off the wall there. There will be one in the bar area later, but this one doesn't need to be here. And I'm just getting everything ready while he does branches, and we'll get on that. All right, it's getting late in the afternoon, and John never did come and help me. He's been still pulling dead branches out of the woods, but I finished up this wall. And again, before I plywood, I'll take those 2x10 or 2x8 gussets out of there once I start like maybe two levels of plywood up. But it was really about getting that off the floor, because again, company's coming and I'm trying to get everything straight. The shop looks a heck of a lot better than it did. I still need to finish in the wood shop area. I guess we'll get started on that the next day I work. All right, guys, I have the 1 foot row of pressure treated going all the way across, and then I have the 4x8 sheets going across the first row of them. But now I'm gonna start getting a little higher up on the wall where, you know, how am I gonna hold this sheet up and screw it in? I just saw another wasp. There was a bird box up there and I had seen wasps flying around it, and I knocked it off. I looked inside the best I could, couldn't see a nest. I knocked it off. No wasps inside of it, so I was safe. I was standing all the way on the top of a ladder, and so there's the back board of it that was still screwed to the wall. So I unscrewed that, and there were like 40 wasps behind it, and they went crazy. So there's dead wasps all over the ground here. We had a battle, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do to hold the plywood. I'm building these little blocks like this. So I'm gonna screw this 1x4 onto the back of this corral board. You know me, I always use some little helper. So once that's screwed together, I can screw that to the wall right there, and then another one on the end. I think the next sheet is only a 4 foot long piece, because I stagger my plywood. So the pressure treated comes over 4 feet, the next sheet of plywood goes over the full 8 feet. So I stagger my seams. So the next one will be 4 foot, and then an 8 foot sheet, 8 foot sheet, and then that top row will start with one that's just 4 foot long. That way the seams don't line up on everything, just makes it stronger. But so we'll screw these on, and I'll probably be able to show you what it looks like with it screwed on. So that's how I'm gonna hang all the plywood for this wall by myself today. And my goal is to get it tarred in, and I still need to finish up on the woodworking area, and you guys will see in future videos why I am rushing to get these projects done. All right, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. These blocks are holding the plywood. Now they're letting it lean out a little bit, but they're holding it, and I can line it up on this edge where I want it. Once I climb up the ladder, all I have to do is just press it in a little bit with my hand and then start screwing it in. And this will work with the full sheets just as well. So I'm gonna start plugging away and get all this hung. All right, we're getting into the late afternoon, and I have that whole side of the building plywooded. You can see the door opening. How did I think I was gonna get all the tar paper up? I'm gonna try and get what I can done today, but I think it seems like we lose daylight so early. So I'll try and get 1 or 2 rows. I don't like to leave the plywood exposed. You see construction sites where the bare plywood is exposed waiting for inspection, and they have to do that. But I mean, it's Florida. I feel like every day has a 50% chance of rain. So why get the plywood wet? I'm gonna try and get everything I can done, and then first thing tomorrow morning finish it up. But up and down on that ladder is tough, and you have to move it every time you do the next row. I mean, every 16 inches I have a row of screws. So I'm gonna get what I can done, and I'll show you all the progress. All right, it's just after lunch the next day, and I have it all tarred in. So now this wall is ready for the next step. Would be the trim, and trim out the ends just like you would see on this wall. You see the trim, and then just do the lap siding up. But we're gonna have to wait for the financials to do that. But I will remove this door and its trim on the inside to hang the door and trim it out and put that door there. Not that it's necessarily our security, because we still have the whole front of the shop to do next. And again, that's gonna have a higher material cost. I need to order the roll-up doors and some heavy lumber to do the door frames and stuff like that. So that'll be a future project. So let's get back to the woodworking area. And I got most of the steel. Well, actually, I got all the steel and aluminum from the other house. And I've got it sitting on the shelves. So now we have all of our steel pieces organized, at least our longer lengths, for future projects. I mean, I don't have much aluminum. PVC pipe and some galvanized pipe and stuff like that is in the larger PVC pieces. And then I have all my short pieces, which some will fit on the shelving and then some will fit underneath. Up top, we should fit all of our rolls of screen, at least the 2-foot rolls, and maybe the 4-foot stuff if it goes lengthwise in a section, some of it. But I'll also have some overhead shelving for some of those rolls. That stuff may be a future video. I'm just gonna get all this floor off the floor and onto the shelving and straighten up this plywood and move this out of the way. So then we'll have a working area. All right, so the rush to get this done, you know, one of the last couple videos I showed you guys the surf skis. I'm gonna be converting 3 or 4 surf skis at the end of January, beginning of February, and that is cutting out the floor and doing the fiberglass work to convert a paddle surf ski into the Hobie drive system. So you guys will get to see how I do all that work, and I don't know, maybe interesting to you guys, maybe not. I'm gonna finish this area. I'll show you guys what it looks like when we're done, and again, we're getting past all this busy work so we can do better videos in the future. But if I'm putting out 2 videos a week, this is all I'm doing, is trying to get all this work done so we can get back to the good animal content. So please hang in there, it's coming. All right, guys, we are finished up with organizing this area. And if you guys can remember, there was nothing but lumber sitting here. You could see the dead patches in the grass. I have all the steel, aluminum, some of the screens sitting there. I still need to build some racks to organize some of that there. I ended up having enough plywood from doing the shop walls to do, sorry about the piling, pressure treated along the bottom, white pine plywood there. Even though there's that trim area, and this is going to be an appearance area, because this is going to be, I believe, the back of the bar area. I think it's fine if we just do the hardy siding inside there. I don't even think you'll notice it once I build all my bar shelving and stuff like at the other house. I think we will eliminate that window. And I'm even thinking, because you know me, I'm always like planning as I work. I'm looking at these extension cords that were running across this doorway that are now a problem because I walked through my shop and through here. I'm gonna end up tripping over it, and that cord is going to the fridge. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll just redo the wiring on the backside and get the fridge wired up. The fridge isn't staying there. This is the wood shop. The fridge will go into the bar area. And I'm thinking that maybe I figure out the elevation of my slab and pour just the slab, maybe even higher than what the rest of this area will be, and pour where the bar will be, the fridge, a large chest freezer. So I think I'm gonna go from the small chest freezer I have right now to a really large one, and then I'll be able to keep all the food items for the animals in half, 2/3 of it, and then keep a very clean half for foods and stuff like that that we're gonna be cooking in the bar area. And there are split freezers, split chest freezers that will work for that. So I think we'll pour a slab, and then we can actually start working on that with, I think I'm gonna build the bar with all this extra corral board. You'll see how I can make it look really nice, and then we'll do an epoxy pour bar top, or maybe we'll save money and do, oh, we could do poured concrete, we could do quartz, or something like that. I don't know, that will cost money, but I'm pretty good at the poured epoxy tops. I've done it quite a bit for other people and at my other house and stuff. This area is done. Once the fridge is gone, we'll have another area right there, because there is a whole bunch of sheet metal behind the plywood there that will get strapped in there. And the next thing to do is to start figuring out where the slab is going to be, maybe start getting some rebar and some string out here, start getting the lumber to extend the roof out, and start working on that. Again, that may be when money frees up, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to plan, and so I can envision it in case I have a change of mind about something. So, but now we have a place to store everything, and we're a heck of a lot more organized. And the next area to start organizing a little bit more is once we start using up the rest of this lumber, shelving material, and everything for the enclosures. This is all going to start looking better, because I do need to start planning and laying out this other area. If the other house sells, and let's say I have 30 days to close, I got to figure out where that big sofa is going to go. I have some big things there that are going to need to come over here, and I don't want them to fill the shop up again. But we're just a couple days to Christmas. Family comes in town today, so I'm going to wrap it up. I got to go meet up with Tom, hand him some videos for him to go over, and I think it's it's my niece's birthday. It's Lenore's birthday today, so there's gonna be a little birthday dinner for her at my parents' house. So, all right, guys, until next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you soon.